Put an unarmed human beside a frightened antelope, and the outcome seems decided before either one moves. The antelope has spring-loaded legs and enough speed to disappear across the plain before the person finds balance. No claws, no fangs, no explosive launch. The human seems unqualified. Then the antelope bolts. Dust rises. Hooves hammer the ground. Soon, the animal shrinks beyond the brush. The hunter does not chase it like a sprinter. He does not panic. He does not waste strength winning the first 100 meters. He simply chooses the direction it went and begins moving after it. Hours later, the faster creature is close to collapse. That is the puzzle. How could an animal built for running lose to one that appears slow, soft, and physically ordinary? The answer is that early humans were not trying to win a race. They were forcing another animal to survive a process. In 2004, researchers Dennis Bramble and Daniel Lieberman highlighted evidence that the human body is unusually suited for endurance running. Scientists still debate how often persistence hunting influenced human evolution. Yet, the basic advantage is clear. Many animals can outrun a person, but few can shed heat while moving for long periods beneath a punishing sun. Imagine the antelope again. It sees danger and reacts exactly as evolution trained it to react. It launches into a sprint. For a short distance, this response is nearly perfect. The predator falls behind. Space opens. Escape appears certain, but speed has a hidden cost. A four-legged animal running at full power cannot cool itself as efficiently as a resting one. Its breathing is tied closely to the rhythm of its stride. While it gallops, the body produces tremendous heat, but panting, its main cooling method, becomes limited. The faster it moves, the hotter the engine becomes. So the antelope must stop. It stands in the shade or beside a patch of scrub, chest heaving, mouth open, dumping heat before its organs cross a dangerous threshold. For a moment, the animal is safe. The human is nowhere in sight. Then a figure appears far behind, not charging, not shouting, just arriving. The antelope runs again. It gains distance again. It stops again. And once more, the same patient shape returns over the horizon. The contest now looks different. The animal spends energy in violent bursts. The hunter spends his slowly. Each sprint buys less recovery. Each pause begins with the hotter body and ends before full cooling. Eventually, speed stops being a gift and becomes the mechanism of defeat. The hunter never catches the antelope in the way a lion catches prey. He pressures it until its own survival response becomes unsustainable. Yet endurance alone is not enough. A person can walk all day and still fail if he chooses the wrong direction. Once the animal disappears, the real hunt begins. The ground does not announce what happened. It whispers. A mark breaks the soil. A stone has flipped from its pale side to its dark side. One stem leans while the others stand. A print sinks deeper on one edge. A dropping is still warm. Moisture has not dried. To an untrained observer, these details are random. To a skilled tracker, they form a moving picture. The hunter is not merely following prints. He is rebuilding an invisible event. How fast was the animal moving? Did terrain force the turn? Is it favoring one leg? Did it cool properly, or flee again too soon? Which route offers shade? Which slope would a tired animal avoid? Every clue changes the prediction. This is one of the most remarkable parts of the story. Before written language, maps, laboratories, or formal mathematics, human beings were already practicing a kind of field science. They observed evidence, formed explanations, tested those explanations by moving through the landscape, and corrected their assumptions when the trail disagreed. A bad interpretation meant wasted hours. Several bad interpretations could mean hunger. The ability to imagine an animal that was no longer visible and to predict where it would appear next was not an intellectual hobby. It was survival. The brain did the modeling. The body made the model useful. Humans lost most heavy body fur and developed an extraordinary number of sweat glands. Rather than depending mainly on panting, a moving person can spread moisture across exposed skin. Evaporation carries heat away. The system is thirsty and dependent on water, But in the right conditions, it supports sustained effort. While other animals must stop to cool, that same system is still active when sweat runs down your back on a treadmill. What feels like discomfort in a modern gym is the remains of an ancient advantage, a body designed not for the fastest moment, but for the longest demand. Bare skin, continuous cooling, elastic structures that help stabilize the head and store energy, a mind capable of reading tiny disturbances as information. None of these traits looks dramatic by itself. Together, they create a hunter whose power appears only over time. And humans did not stop with the body. Eventually, they began turning knowledge of animal behavior into architecture. Picture a herd crossing open country. The animals encounter two low lines of stone stretching across the landscape. The walls are not high enough to look threatening. They do not resemble a cage. They merely guide movement, narrowing the available space so gradually that the herd continues forward. The animals believe they are choosing the easiest path. Far ahead, the stone lines converge. At the narrow end waits a pit, an enclosure, a cliff edge, or a killing zone, hidden until retreat becomes impossible. The herd enters at speed. By the time the danger is visible, the shape of the land has already made the decision. Across the Middle East and Central Asia, archaeologists have documented thousands of enormous hunting structures, often called desert kites. Some stretch for kilometers and are clearer from the air than from the ground. Their guiding walls reveal planning far beyond a single chase. These were not spontaneous traps built during an afternoon of hunger. They required groups of people to study migration routes, anticipate panic, move stone, coordinate labor, and trust that work performed now would produce food later. The trap was a prediction made physical. Elsewhere, ancient hunters dug rows of pits along routes used by large animals. Japanese pit trap systems dating back tens of thousands of years reveal the same intelligence. Never challenge an animal where it is strongest. Study its habits, then shape the environment so its strength carries it toward your solution. The animal could beat a person in open acceleration. It could not understand a plan extending across seasons. This is the deeper pattern connecting the long chase, the barely visible track, and the stone funnel. At first, they seem like separate inventions. One belongs to muscles, one to perception, and one to engineering. In reality, all three express the same human strategy. Do not meet force with greater force. Extend the contest. Collect information. Shape the conditions. Let time become an ally. The antelope experiences the immediate problem, the follower behind it, the heat within it, the opening ahead. The human thinks across a wider frame. He remembers last year's migrations, notices how frightened herds turn, imagines a future position, and acts now to control it. That difference matters more than top speed. Popular images of prehistoric people often make them look like inferior animals surviving through luck. But weakness is the wrong lens. Early humans were dangerous precisely because their advantage was difficult for prey to recognize. A horn can be seen. Teeth can be seen. A burst of speed can be felt instantly. Patience is invisible until escape stops working. Planning is invisible until the path narrows. Inference is invisible until the hunter appears where he should not be. The prey believes every sprint resets the contest. The hunter knows each sprint is part of the same accumulating debt. Your life may look nothing like that landscape, yet the machinery remains. You carry a body capable of sustained movement and a mind that can pursue outcomes beyond the present. The ancient lesson is not that humans were secretly faster. It is that speed was never the only measure of power. Picture the final scene. An animal flies across the plain, every stride magnificent, every instinct commanding it to put more distance behind. Far back, almost irrelevant, a person follows at a controlled pace. The animal owns the next minute. The human has chosen the next several hours. One is escaping what it can see. The other is pursuing an ending. That is why the slow hunter wins. Not because the laws of nature are suspended, and not because speed suddenly becomes useless. He wins because he understands the limit hidden inside speed, reads the evidence left by movement, and refuses to stop when the faster body must. The animal runs against distance. The human runs with time. And time, patiently used, can defeat almost anything built only to flee.